Welcome back to the channel. Well, I made a pit stop down here in southern Indiana where, man, it's a little bit dry, but the opposite of dry, they got Ross. and he's standing next to a really nice Jetstar 3
I'm
Super.
keeping my distance. I'm not getting too close.
Why not?
No, this is a good little tractor.
Yeah, these are pretty.
I've worked on it a time or two.
Yep, so. I've seen the videos, and it's the tractor I'd like to have in my collection. Some ask, it should have the words white or letters.
I remember
white
when it did. So
okay.
I don't know when it recently must have come off.
Right,
but
it's been repainted. The cast iron weight bracket that is a telltale sign of a 1969 or 70, but a 70 has the full frame rails here, where all the other ones it stops right here. And if you want to put a loader on there's like a half-inch thick bracket you have to mount here to mount your loader to.
Oh.
Yep, I've had a set of those. And then all four white wheels and the white side panel and the flat top fenders are all giveaways of the 1970 model. So
what's the difference between a super or not super?
Sheet metal mostly. Hydraulics I think are a little bit better on the Super Series. The steering is a little bit up.
So the Super Series was just newer, like they did
yes.
with the Olivers, the Super Series.
Right, so Minneapolis Moline changed halfway through 1965 in the Jetstar 3s. So yep, in 65 you could have got a low band or regular, non-super at that time. But yeah, this is a nice little tractor with 16 9/28 spin outs on it. Yeah, he's
on its second farm. I think he bought it used. He said,
yeah,
when he went to 30-inch rows, he needed something to do spraying, and that's what the co-op had on the lot for sale. So
isn't that something?
So he bought it, and it's been there ever since.
Huh.
And they love it. I mean, they said it's one of their favorite tractors to drive and use for just everything.
Yeah,
I mean,
they're easy on fuel, easy on, easy off. Looks like they put a John Deere combine seat on it, but at least a John Deere seat. That could be switched back if it ever needed to, but yeah, this is a cool tractor.
Any idea how many do you think they made?
I looked it up, and I got the numbers in the truck. They made quite a few in 1970. It was a couple hundred, 250-ish. I did look it up, but now I don't remember what it was. But
that's something I don't know compared to Moline to Oliver. But when you think about it, like the total number of like Oliver tractors built was only like 250,000.
Yeah.
Like Farmall built that many H's or whatever. So
yes.
It's a lot lower when you go to collect. I mean, there's really a lot less to pull from.
And I think, somebody can correct me if they want, but they made a whole lot more Olivers than they did Minneapolis Molines. Some of the Moline collectors, if they made 25 or less, then it's rare. If they only made, 250, it's they didn't make few. But you tell a John Deere guy they only made 250, like, oh man, that's like the hen's teeth,
Yeah.
The steering cylinder too.
That's in the 1970s.
Yep. So of course, because it mounts to the full side rails. So, and this one had the screw down. Distributor cap. Yeah, like the U302s did.
Yeah, because we talked on the phone about that, and then I don't remember if I'd bought one or whatever and brought both. And
and it doesn't mean they didn't switch out the whole distributor at one time too.
Very much possible.
2 bolts and there it is. So.
And that, of course, is their 1755 that lives at the same place as this Moline.
Yeah.
I haven't seen them yet this week, but I said in my video I stuck some of my stickers on there to see if they'd notice. But it's lived at my house quite a bit in the last few years trying to fix stuff on it. So
correct me if I'm wrong too. It seems like the 1755s with that 310, they had a lot less issues.
Yeah, because it wasn't turned up any, and it was. See these. Well, we can look at that one for the difference. But non-cooler block, and then naturally aspirated in the 1755. The 1855 that had the trouble was the one that had this block with no cooler, and then the turbo, because they turned it up, and then guys would just keep turning it up until finally something bad happened. Well, then they came out with these, which they had all along, like even back in the 1950T, that has this cooler made in the block.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, they didn't have as much issue with these, other than the other big issues with them were the rod bolts were not the best, and then those two-piece rod bushings.
Yep.
If you saw that video,
I
like
did.
on my 1655, I mean, it wasn't making any noise or anything, but I could pull that out by hand, so that was getting ready to go.
Yeah.
So it was time to do something. But,
You almost had a vented crankcase.
but yeah, but no, I think there's a lot more 1755s that survived with no issue. This one definitely, I don't know how many million hours it's probably got on it. I mean, it lived on a dairy farm, and they bought it. He said it was the first 55 series tractor ever sold here, and it's very, very early 1755. When I worked on it, it's like one of the first 200 or 300, because there was a lot of stuff that I changed with the updates when we had it apart, because I've had it back over the course of the last 5 or 10 years. I probably had it back to where it was when the day it was built. I've had the transmission apart and the engine and everything. So yeah, but I mean, that's a testament right there to that they weren't, despite what people always say gloom and doom about the 310. I mean, this one was not babied, and it's still working today.
Right.
So, but it's the common sense too. When guys tried to turn them up to 200 horsepower,
Right.
they didn't
Right.
didn't last plowing all day, you know. So
Well, the extra heat.
Yeah.
That's a lot of it's the heat.
There's one on the back that have them.
So, well, that's, you know, I have a G955 Moline, which is, you know, from Bellhousing back is Oliver.
Yeah.
You know, and I tell you what, I like that transmission, the way that one drives the dash and everything. You know, that's the best.
The hydro shift is my favorite on any of them.
Okay.
And I'm sure that has it because of that, you know.
Yep.
But that
3-speed.
is so handy. I mean, it was self-contained and pretty reliable. I mean, they used it basically unchanged up into the whites. And a lot of people think, well, what does that matter, you know? But, you know, if you're like planting with one, it's super handy to be able to just drop it down and slow while you turn, and then you can go faster, you know. And
Absolutely.
If you got an easy pulling time, you can go even faster than that, you know, and don't have to stop and shift gears. So,
Yep.
but these 55 series tractors, other than that issue that some people had with the motor, I think were about the best they made, because everything's hydraulic and it's so easy to drive. Same, I mean, you know that from yours, because it's the same rear end. It's just there's a lot of stuff that can start leaking, you know, you might have to work on, but they're very, very nice to drive.
Well, I've said it on my channel, and my, you know, an old boy once told me, you know, if you have an Oliver or me, a Moline or a White, and you don't want it to leak any oil, don't put any oil in it. So.
Yeah, if it's got oil in it, I mean, if it's still leaking, it's got oil in it.
That's right. And then, you know, that's the thing, you know, these tractors getting so old, you fix one thing, then a little while later it wants to leak somewhere else, it seems like, you know, and unless you go through all of them. So
Gathering
How's
an
it going?
audience.
Fine dandy. That outfit you got there, how does that work?
my camera,
Yeah.
I push play and then it records it. I don't have to do much work.
You know, Russ.
Not much.
Well, we don't. Then when you want to play it over,
I watch you. Been watching
can you get it on? Well, naturally get it on a bigger screen.
He's got a channel,
That's
too.
right, yeah. There's a little screen in here, or a little card in here, and I put it in my computer and put it on YouTube.
I see.
Yeah, this guy got me into doing it.
Yeah.
Kinda.
Kinda. Yeah, I know.
We watch your goofy videos.
There you go. That's good.
I know, I watch them.
Yeah.
Well, he's the best organ player in Indiana.
I don't know
Yeah.
about all that, but
I do.
Well, I had somebody tell me today, one of my subscribers from, I was in Illinois this morning. He told me to tell you to keep up the animal noises.
keep up the animal noise.
Yeah, that's what he told me. So.
Some people say lately, they said, well, there wasn't any animal noises in that one. Well, that's because I had to cut out like a half an hour of animal noises. It's
Yeah.
not worth putting any in at
Right.
that point. I mean,
The whole auction addiction that you have. Oh
yeah.
my God.
I don't know.
I
what
may
he's
or
talking about.
I hear myself.
I may or may not.
Every time you put out something about Dragon Helm, something new, I'm like,
I may or may not have bought another tractor today. I just have to go get it.
last 3 weeks I've went and picked up tractors from a lawman auction. Last 3 weeks
There you
straight,
go.
every weekend.
Yeah.
It's very easy to do.
I got to walk around my backyard the other day and counted 30 tractors. I'm like, where the fuck am I
It
gonna
doesn't.
put all these?
It doesn't take long. I know.
I
Yeah.
didn't bring one here.
Them two guys was here yesterday from Iowa.
Yeah.
What part of Iowa? You remember?
They said in, like the northeast, I think. I can't remember.
I was in northeast Iowa last Saturday,
They,
up around Walk-On.
they came down here to meet.
Walcott, you said?
Walk-On or something like
Walcott.
that.
Walcott's
where, like,
what Iowa 80.
That's where Bolte lives.
It was,
Okay.
it was Waukon.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah, it was up there by,
Okay.
by the headwaters of the Mississippi.
Oh, okay. That's way north.
I mean, it wasn't far from the Wisconsin border, but it wasn't far from Minnesota border
Yeah,
either.
you're up there a ways.
It was up there. And that was all to pick up a freaking Sears garden tractor. That's how bad my
Garden tractor addiction. Yeah.
this is the first garden tractor I've bought.
I get a few of those
But
too.
I got to get back in the damn garage. Get Melvin 770.
Start cranking them out.
Somebody's barbecuing chicken. I can smell it.
There's a lot of good food here.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't go wrong anywhere you eat, but that's probably pork producers up there cooking.
Okay.
They've got
yeah.
some
Ribeye steaks.
I just
Oh, yeah?
delicious
I love ribeyes.
pork loins and
Yeah.
bratwurst, and they got about the best hot dogs I think I've ever eaten too. I don't know.
Oh.
Just
Well, I live, I'm from Michigan. I'm not too far from Flint, but that's where Kogel's is. And I
Okay.
tell you what, Kogel's makes some really good hot dogs.
and they got that good water in Flint too.
Yes, yes.
the flavors
It's
that
yes,
season.
it's instead of being unleaded, it's
Yeah,
leaded.
it's fully leaded.
That's
Gives it a taste.
well, and lubrication
There
too.
you
You
go.
know what I mean? He took all the lead out of the gas, and look at what it does.
Michigan, you didn't
Well, I
call
don't
the
mean to be
headquarters?
nosy. I just,
Yeah.
I went to Illinois first
Yeah,
today.
you
I just was wondering how that worked.
Yep. Now you know.
Running
I
down,
pushed the button and
you're off,
it's off. So
or you're going.
I'm doing something. So right or wrong.
Where'd you say you was from?
I'm 2 hours north of Detroit. 2 hours north of Detroit. Michigan.
Detroit.
Michigan's
yeah.
shaped like this, right?
I can't hear and I can't
Ooh.
see, so if
There,
you want
all
to
right.
talk loud, you
All
can.
right.
They say all Michigans are.
Yep. That's what we
Raise their
do.
hand to point out where they're
That's
from.
what we do. The guys in the UP are a little bit, they got to do something different. But
Yeah.
I like the UP. That's nice too. But 1086. They weren't a bad tractor, but everybody hates the doors.
Oh man, I worked on one time that made me hate all 1086.
Yeah.
Because it's crammed in there. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, the doors, a lot of them, a lot of the hoods have a dent where the door swings around and hits
Yeah.
them.
Right.
They did a lot of work. He painted that here not too long ago.
Mhm.
I remember, I don't know, last time I saw it, I think I worked on their baler was hooked to it. But yeah, they've done a lot of work. And then the
Yeah.
1155.
The V8
he
Perkins.
bought, and that's
Yeah.
kind of neat. You don't
Yeah, they
see them
are.
around here.
A buddy in Iowa had one. I think he sold it already. But
And then I guess this one is different because it's got a non-adjustable front axle, and
oh,
I'm not sure if it has 3-point or what, but
yeah,
uh,
more like a
What else did you bring?
standard
those
Wheatland.
5 back there, and then a
Hmm.
deer up front there. But
Boy, that's a little bit of a scary spot to have the filters.
yeah,
I think they get knocked
right
off.
in the danger zone.
Yeah, I think they get knocked right off.
I brought 5 tractors. The Super
Yeah.
55 is someone else's.
Yeah, it does not have 3-point
Back there,
hitch.
but,
Swing and drawbar. That's a
yeah, big
standard or
Wheatland
Wheatland. Yeah. Yeah, that is a neat tractor. So, all right. Super 77.
tractor. Yeah, I was down in the
Diesel.
Carolina to take that thing someplace.
I don't blame you.
Even though it doesn't run the best. It's time to get it out and do something.
Yeah, that American Bosch pump is not my favorite.
No, and the parts are getting hard to find.
Right.
This tractor, when I bought it, looked totally different. It was stripped down for pulling, and I thought I got a good deal on it. I
Yep.
wanted an old diesel, and cleaned it up and painted it all up, and then the whole block opened up on the side one time where
Yep.
somebody had filled it full of magical putty or something. And
Right.
so that was kind of depressing, but
Mm-hmm.
anyway, it looked pretty. So
Yeah. Right.
put
Right.
hydraulics back on it and stuff. I mean, it was all,
Mhm.
it had nothing on it left because of pulling, obviously.
Right.
But put a belt pulley unit on it.
Mm-hmm.
So Super 66, that came out of the woods. I saw it on Facebook Marketplace one morning, and I saw these flat plates and I thought it was either a Super 66 or a 660, so I just messaged them, I'll take it. Well, then the river flooded, so I had to drive 45 minutes to make a 15-minute trip to go get it, because they said, well, there's 19 people who want it if you don't take it today. So
Oh yeah.
so I had to slide one wheel in and winch it up, backed up a hill in the woods, and they were laughing at me the whole time. I said, no, that'll never run again.
Oh.
66, I traded something for. Somebody else did most of the cosmetic work on it. I changed a few little things, put factory headlights on it and things. But,
oh, they're a nice little tractor.
They're fun. Like I raked hay with them in that one video, all three of these, and you know, they're nice to drive. They easy to turn.
60s are nice tractors. They just don't command much money anymore.
No, that's the shame. Like with a lot of these, if they don't have 3-point hitch, people just don't really want them anymore. I mean, $1,000 will buy you a pretty decent tractor anymore.
That's right. And you can spend more than that on tires alone.
Oh yeah, easy. That's what somebody told me once, said if you really want to depress yourself, go around your house and start adding up what you got in tires and you won't finish. And that's true.
Yeah.
You won't finish. You got millions of dollars in tires when you got more than one tractor. I don't know if this is all original, but this guy bought it from his father-in-law several years ago, but it's a pretty straight example. It's one of the later ones because it's got the sideways. Well, actually, no, I take that back. Unless they've changed it. There was 3 revisions of this flap, and the early one was the one that opened this way because they changed it because people had burned their arm while they were putting gas in it. So then mine folds this way, and then the later one's folded this way.
I see.
But so this might be a old tractor that they have painted up with red wheels, but I never looked at the serial number.
Someday I want to get the Moline versions of these.
Yeah, those are good little tractors. That 1360, the later Fiats like this. I mean, and this size here, the 13 size, almost every piece is available for. And I don't know, what would that be in the Moline? A 9, or no, it'd be a 40.
A 450, isn't it?
450.
Because the 1265 was the 350.
Oh yeah, 350, 450, and then I don't know, did they ever do the 14 size of 550 or not?
No, because the G550 was actually a 1555.
Yeah. Okay, which you don't see very many of those either.
No.
I mean,
they only made 24 of them.
See, so that is a low.
Yeah.
There was a, what would it be, a G650 around here?
No, it'd be
1655.
That would be a 750.
750.
Yep.
Because I remember the only one I remember on that is the 1855 was a 940 because Moline already had a 940.
That's correct. That's correct.
But there was a 1655 size one around here that a guy bought new, not too far from here, but I haven't seen it for several years.
Yeah.
And it was beautiful, original paint. And all at once, the next time I saw it, that old man took it, he had it sandblasted and painted it with new paint.
Yep,
and
green.
That was almost a shame because it would have shined up really nice. But anyway, I like the little Fiats.
They're fuel misers.
Oh, you can. I don't know that I've ever filled this up more than one time since I've used it. I mean and I use it all the time. I mean, it's just very good. If you let air in the system, it's hard to get it bled out, but once you get it to go, it's good to go. And this tractor consequently was sold new, and it was at the fair here when it was new. So this is the first time it's been back since it was new, but it was here. And I remember lots of people telling me that they remembered when they were here because it had a horn, and the mechanic, when he was unloading it and stuff, would honk the horn, and people just couldn't believe the tractor had a horn. But no, there was a few of these around, and I mean, they're good. The mate to this one is, well, I had a video where I went out there and looked at it when I was working on this one, and it's still on the original farm, and they use it all the time. I mean, real handy for augers. They'll do more than what you think. When you see them, you know, you kind of think, well, they're not that much power, but they're pretty handy.
That's one of my Moline buddies.
Call him in and bring him in on the call.
Yeah.
So,
ooh, 1256. That was, you know, muscle tractor. Definitely of its age. You know, that's vintage. They're a good tractor, aren't they? I think.
There's a lot of them around. There's 2 here at the fair, which is, there's one behind you.
Right. 200 Alice. If you're into the orange stuff, 210. There, that's a That's a horse.
It's a horse. I never realized until working on them that they don't have the shift on the go.
Oh,
They're gear to gear only.
That's
They're more
it.
like a D21. So
I've hauled a couple D21s.
those used to be really popular around here, and that got pretty pricey, you know.
Yep. Well, that's why I picked one up for a buddy of mine. He was with me. I think we were in Ohio and got that. And he paid 10 grand for a non-running tractor. I says, this is before I knew. I says, geez, that's a lot of money for a non-running tractor. Well, it's worth 20 grand running.
Yeah,
oh, okay.
yeah.
But he said the overhaul kit was like 1,600 bucks.
Yeah, that's.
You know, vegetable G there. Yeah, I know a guy. I know he's an organic farmer. He's got several of these with different attachments, and he cultivates them with them. Sells
They're a funny little thing to drive. It feels like you're, I mean, crammed on a little toy, you know. And this one they bought non-running, and I had my service truck had air on it, so I drove down there and we aired up the tire and pulled it back behind that down the road. But, yeah,
That'd
he went
have
all
been
through it. It's pretty nice.
Yeah, 44.
That's from the same farm as the Moline.
I see. It's an 88, isn't it?
Yeah,
Super 88.
Super 88.
Yeah.
Technically a green-wheeled Super 88, but a lot of guys painted them red. They like the red.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing I've seen. You know, I own Molines if somebody painted them the wrong color. I mean, totally wrong color, but you know, it's their tractor, so.
There was a guy here who showed for years. He had gas engines and he had all kinds of stuff, garden tractors, whatever. He bought all the paint from yard sales or auctions that nobody wanted, and mixed it all together and painted everything he owned with this paint, and it was like a maroonish brown paint, and everything he had was painted that color. He had a big Hercules engine painted that color, Gibson garden tractor. So yeah, I guess color is a preference.
Cockshut 550. These had Continentals in them? Is that correct?
Those are Hercules.
This is a Hercules. Okay.
Pieces. I need to go get it and finish it, but yeah, it's like a GO 198 Hercules.
Okay.
And it's expensive to fix because it was like $200 for a sleeve and piston per hole.
Per hole.
And that's no glasses or no gaskets or bearings or anything.
Oh boy.
But yeah.
EAC, they don't bring much money anymore.
No, that's a later one too, because it's got that integral, you know, their version of the 3-point hitch. What is it? The Eagle hitch, I think they call it.
Yeah.
But the one I got is just, it's got some kind of hydraulic lift, but it's a Mickey Mouse looking thing that, you know.
CA high crop. These are a nice tractor. You know, I'm not a red guy, but these are a nice tractor.
I always said if I had to own an International, I would either want like a 1206 or a whatever. I like them when they got the white fenders and the white wheel centers. I think they just, that's a pretty looking tractor.
These sound pretty good too, especially with that straight pipe and the turbo. Hearing that whistle, but so watch your step on the bucket. Yeah, I saw that. That's a good idea. Super M. There was 2 MDs down there
at the Illinois show.
Yeah, at the Illinois show. Yeah, one was fixed up like this, and one was original.
I don't know around here where you could even find an MD. To be honest, I always thought they were neat just because of all the stuff they had on them to make them, you know, start on gas and run on diesel. But but around here, I don't know that there was very many.
Got to be better than a pony motor on a John Deere.
You would think so, but I don't know.
Yeah, 8N, yes. Boy, they sell 1 million of these?
Oh, I think so. I think they sold 1 million.
There's a lot of them.
8N Fords, and then you count the 2 Ns and the 9 Ns.
Right.
They sold a ton of these.
Yeah.
I mean.
Yeah, that's a cool tractor too. But Series 3 190. But
yeah, this family were big Alice Chalmers users over their life, and they pulled tractors. They pulled D21s. That what's his name, Cody Adjent or whatever, down in Tennessee.
I know of him.
He came up and bought I think everything they had left. So
he has a few Molines down there that he's always trying to sell. So
yeah, he's got stuff I'd like to have too. But
yeah, I'm gonna walk back down this way. I guess video of these, but I wonder how many Rusamasta Standine pumps there are out in the world. You know,
I don't know. That's probably the most common one, I think. And Alice is on the opposite side, like all the Olivers and stuff.
And the Moline too is on this side.
It's the same pump, just
MTA. I tell you, it's cooler here than it was in Illinois.
Really?
Yeah,
It's not been too bad all week. But
yeah. But it's overcast here. So, Ferguson.
that's probably a unique tractor. I mean, I think Kentucky maybe was where a lot of those were.
Yeah,
the
could be.
offset jobs. But
So you go like a half hour southeast of me, there's a lot of muck area where there's still onions and carrots and
they use stuff like that.
oh yeah. Yeah, the John Blues.
Oh,
Yeah, I see them out there too, but see. Oh, here's that M you were talking about that caught on
yeah,
fire.
that was about 12 years ago, right out here, just turning into the thing, and we rushed out, and that's as far as we got it. But
Yeah. There's 60. Schaefer had their tug down there. That was neat.
yeah, I don't know how
60
many
industrial.
industrials they really made compared to anything else.
Yeah.
That's something you don't see everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah, I got a friend, Glenn Ray, in Pennsylvania. He's got quite a few of these.
Were they were sold in England, weren't they? Is that where they were?
Somewhere over there, yeah. Yeah.
Maybe Scotland and some of these. I don't know.
Yeah. They're kind of a neat unit.
Yeah, basically. It's a tractor.
Heavy duty though,
Yeah.
man. Holy cow.
Yeah, I mean, it's a steering. When you look at them, the front wheels steer. It's not like articulated. I mean, some people maybe don't get that from the camera, but
Right, yeah. There's no joint in here.
no.
Wow. They couldn't steer very sharply.
I'd say it'd take a good amount of space to turn around.
Yeah. Huh. They are neat though. Feel the heat off the tires. The sun pounding on them. But yeah, they're cool. They gotta be heavy all in one little spot too.
They drive them in here. I know
Yeah.
that. They, I guess they. I don't know what they weigh.
Hard power. How many more of these you want?
Get about 2 minutes now.
Yeah, Heart Par 70. I know a guy that's got bunch
I've
of
always
Olivers.
wanted one on full steel, just because then, if you've ever seen that in the 1960s, like when they came out with the 1800A, they had a promotion 6 for a quarter to, you know, tell John Deere that they'd already had 6 cylinders for 25 years.
Oh, okay.
You could mail in, I don't remember how it was, but anyway, you'd end up with like an extra nickel. They had a card that had, you know, 6 whatever. You send in a quarter and you get 6 nickels back, I guess. And
Right.
but they had a fancy sign, and they had the 2 tractors parked side by side, a Heart Par 70 and that 1800. And so I don't know.
Yeah.
One of these
This has
days-
got a neat look too, this wide front with the rabe cab, but
Yeah, the Rabby cab. Somebody asked me, and you would know the answer. Did Rabby build the Moline cabs? Because they're very similar looking.
they're very similar, but I don't GoPro. You gotta work now.
There you go.
So-
So the official answer is no, they did not make the Moline cabs.
I don't believe so.
So
Yeah.
there we go.
Single front wheel. This is a beast. It looks even better with them big wheels on the front though.
Yeah, it's
880 diesel.
a nice tractor. That's the one he bought it from that almond auction the other day, and they went down to Kentucky and brought it right up here.
Yeah.
So
Must be they didn't have to do much to it.
no,
This is a pretty 88.
he just got that painted. That guy called me a dozen times asking details of how it was supposed to look
Yeah.
and stuff, and they didn't
I
really.
tell you what, that you were
really nice.
complimenting the guy's paint job.
Yeah.
I'm gonna concur.
Yeah,
That is straight.
He's
it's
very,
shiny.
very particular and does an excellent job. I've seen him do like 7,000 series Alice Chummers where it's all rotted out around, and when he's done, you can't tell that
Oh man.
there's ever been any problem.
Huh. Wow. Cool. Ferguson's. But yeah, the old Massey's. There's quite a few of these around my area, seems like. All right. Well, cool. And then there's a 1456 over here. But
Yeah, that's a sharp little tractor too. I don't
Sure
know
is.
the difference. If it's the same as the 12 just turned up, I think. I don't know.
Yeah. Let's see. I asked the question, and I think it was the difference between a 1466 and 1566 transmission or rear end, but I don't know about the 56 series. Yeah. They're a good looking tractor though. Super H. Yeah, and a B. All right. Well, cool. The only thing left is the green tractors, John Deere. So, there, Dad. Moline John. He still owns one of these. Actually, my brother has an 8650. But yep. You know, you put one of the new John Deeres next to this one, and it makes it look tiny. So, you ever seen too many 8850s?
No.
Them big turds.
No, I haven't.
They're huge. They weigh like 30,000 pounds,
Wow.
and I had a lot of trouble with that V8 in there. But, yeah, beast in its day. I was talking to my dad, you know, about your 4150, and the one he used to have, he pulled. He had a white on land 618.
Okay.
And he, you know, we have pretty heavy ground too where we're at, and he pulled. He had a Brady cultivator. He pulled with 20. Thought he said 25 or 26 foot. And then one time he pulled a 20-foot disc and a 20-foot field cultivator behind, you know, in tandem.
In tandem.
Yeah,
That's
you know.
cool.
So.
Yeah, I've got an on-land 6-bottom plow, so I figure we're gonna have to try that at some point.
Yeah, 4430 open station. Oh yeah.
I don't know how many were open versus quad.
Yeah, it's a quad range. So, yep. Dad still has a 4430. I laugh every time I look at it, and hard to imagine it was at one time the big tractor. Yeah. Boy, them tires are.
Yeah, I noticed that too the other day. This comes from that same farm as the Moline.
Oh, okay.
Dairy farm tractor.
Yeah. Yeah, the G. Yeah, they are cool. You know, it's easy to spot them if there's no paint on them or whatever.
Sideways.
Yep, that's right.
That was owned by a preacher at a local church that was these guys' neighbor. And then when he took a call and left, then this old guy bought all of the tractors he had. He had this and like a DC case and whatever. It's that same bunch, and they're. I think I've worked on them in a video before years ago. But yeah, they're
420. This is the second low utility 420 I've seen.
There's over there and
a 420U. Isn't that what they called that?
oh, the low down one.
Yeah.
See, I don't know. I got that 2020, and it's an HU, a high utility.
Yep.
And they made an RU and an LU. So I don't know if that's even.
My brother-in-law has a 420 high crop.
I don't know if they say like they say that on the tag. This is a 420W.
W.
So W must mean low.
Way down low.
Yeah, way down, way down low.
Yeah. These are made in Dubuque.
Somebody decided that they weren't going wide rows anymore.
Yeah, I had to fit through a door.
And that was.
That's what it was. I had to fit through a door. Yeah, that's what I got a M670 that way. Oh, 4020.
I think it looks like it's original paint, but I might be wrong. But not a bad one if it is.
Right. Yeah. These are good. Must have a turbo on it.
Looks that way.
Yeah.
Timers fix for adding fancy exhaustments is just to put a plate over it with some silk tappers.
All right. Somebody's been playing with it. It's not even in park. It is a synchro. I was like, it was confusing me, the location of that. So it's not a power shift, but yeah, 530 is a nice nice little size tractor. That's for sure. 60. Yep. 4440.
I hope not. We'll be here all night.
The axles are bigger on these than the 4430.
Oh, they are.
On the 4440. Yeah, it's a telltale sign. But 69 4020.
Are you serious?
Yeah, side console and a synchro. Yeah. I might be more of a John Deere guy than you. You know, we've always had John Deeres on the farm too. Yeah, I'm only John Deere's. Yeah, and one's here.
The one's over there. Yeah.
These are just a cute little tractor, I think, too. So.
Yeah, they're. I mean, that's their size, like the B. They're replacing for the B.
Yep.
And it seems like you don't see that many of them. I mean, compared to the 6 and 7s. But
There's a lot of John Deere and IH around me.
really,
Yeah, some pretty good sized collections. That's for sure. There's a few Oliver collections too.
You about over for the year?
I'm about wound down on the fair. Yeah, pretty well.
On style beans.
Dad, give me some more gas.
Yeah.
I ain't got gas.
This one actually looks better in person than it does on video. I think.
Really?
Yeah, he did good.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
This fender got painted and put on a day later after the tractor was here.
Yeah.
But it's not perfect, but it's the way that it was. I mean, it's got some marks in it that, you know, Grandpa and Great-Grandpa put in it. So
Yeah.
that's pretty well how it is.
Witness marks.
Witness marks,
Yeah.
That one fender's got a place on the top, and my grandpa fixed it, but his dad was using it, and the cultivators flipped up and
Slapped
it and put a hole in it. So
it.
stuff like that, I couldn't fix it. I do recommend to anyone who's working on one, if you need grill screens, just buy complete grills, because I spent forever welding those screens in there and trying to make it where you that was a lot of work.
Yeah. Yeah.
But now it's
No problem.
yeah.
Might be a future farmer, so yeah.
There you go.
Couple 620s. 2010. It's 2010 diesel. Man, they had a lot of problems with this.
Oh, I
tractor.
know. I know.
And this was worse than the gassers.
And I've always said that I want one that's narrow front, just because I think they're neat looking. But yeah, everybody says they're not highly regarded.
No, sir. No, sir.
Highly regarded.
Now this is a tractor that is.
4320.
Yep, but then you go to a 4520, then you're going back the other way. 4520, yeah. These will bring a whole lot more than. I know a guy was trying to get 9,500 out of a really nice 4520.
Is this basically a 4020 with a bigger motor then, or what is it?
This has a 404 in this, as well as the 4020s did. They're a little bit longer, but they're still not turbocharged.
Huh.
So it's just they're a little bit longer hood on, if I'm right. But go back and forth here. Dad has a 4010 yet, and a 5020. Oh, that's a beast.
Really? There you go.
That's a beast.
There's a couple of those around.
Yeah. 4020. So yeah, the 630, the 620, the 70. Clunk, 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 clunk. Another Dubuque tractor. Any of the Dubuque ones, you know, cylinders went up and down instead of back and forth.
I had one of those, and I mean, it was a sweet runner.
Yeah. But they do have a little bit different sound than the other ones.
Boy, they start easy.
Yeah.
The one I did.
Mm-hmm.
That way. This is a horse here. I mean,
730.
never spent a day inside in its life, but
Mm-hmm. Old Harry.
got a donation bucket if people want to give.
Oh yeah. Where I want to take.
Yeah,
Yeah. 420 crawler. ×2. See, back home the red ones like this were the DNRs.
Is that what it was? Somebody asked, and
Yeah.
I didn't know. I thought maybe a highway department.
Yeah, and it could be, but you know, I know that a lot of them are red for the DNR, for the fire.
These are
No,
owned by
fight
the
fires.
guys with the county tractors, and they're kind of
Okay.
big into crawlers and stuff.
Yeah.
They've got all kind of different things.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yep.
yeah, these have been here for years. They usually, I don't know, they don't bring them every year. They're kind of hard to move, I think. But
Okay.
they're not like a modern crawler where you get your instant turn. I think you
Oh.
kind of have
You got to plan
a
more ahead.
radius.
Yeah, playing more ahead. It's cool.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate the help with the video here.
No problem.
So that's all the tractors for the most part. But I don't know how many minutes that was, but
Yeah.
cool.
We got you some footage.
Here's his 88 and the Moline combine. Yeah, you have done a lot of work to this.
This little thing has more than paid for itself. I'll tell you, the most money I put in it was making these bats, and it's worked pretty flawless. It's got a little bit of a knock to it. I haven't figured out yet because it doesn't do it all the time, but when it's cutting all at once, it'll start. So I don't know if something up here is not shimmed right or whatever, but
Well,
it's worked perfect every time.
if you need 4 more, there's a sale come up in Iowa.
Really?
There's a
He's got
whole There's a whole sling of combines, pull type pickers. I mean, tractors and stuff. There's
More people
wow.
need to save stuff like that because I've had a blast doing this. It's hard to store and it's hard to transport.
Yep.
But if you can keep it around home, why it's fun. A lot of people, when you see the videos, they said, "Man, that sample's cleaner than my regular combine." You know?
Yeah.
I mean, the old man had this, and he had a little play farm basically, and he had 2-cylinder John Deeres, and he had a picker that Dirk Mama Bear's Homestead. He's got that, and then I bought this, and I mean, he had them in working order. He took them down to the Amish and let them work on them. I saw him the other day, and he told me he had them totally go through this one time or the other. But
that's the thing. Even like the old Moline corn shellers did a really good job.
Oh yeah, and that's neat. I'd like to find. I know they made some green and they made some red. I'd like to find one of those, but down here you just never really saw that much. I don't know why.
Up our way, the Amish gobble them up.
Really? They probably like that.
They still use them. So.
But it's been. I mean, you can see he's had augers made and stuff, and it just. It needed nothing other than the bats. That was the only thing. It had some crappy plywood bats on it that were all warped up.
But you're just not going to load the truck with it.
No. Very short. It'll just barely, if you saw like on that video this year, it would just barely go in this wagon. You had to watch so you didn't hit it. But it's been a good one. I mean, neat. Fun to play with.
Wow. My phone goes off all the time too. So. 1855. I like listening to that on your videos.
Running. I love the turbo 310s.
Yeah.
And you know, you put that. A lot of people like straight pipe. You put the muffler on, it gives it a deeper tone to it. You know, but
with the fuel tank fenders, that's a really good looking tractor.
108 gallons of fuel you can hold, and that'll last a while. It doesn't use that much fuel really. I mean, that's a pretty fuel efficient motor, but yeah, that's one of my favorites. But I mean, I've been all the way through it.
Yeah.
I mean, back in the day, you know.
Yeah, they're a pretty tractor too.
It needs a good washing and wax now.
Yeah.
Put it away for the winter. But
right.
I'm meaning to work on all my stuff that needs maintenance after planting, but then people keep bringing stuff to work on, and I figure their money is important too. So.
Yeah. Well, that's it. One thing that I've noticed, you know, the later whites, and you know, even with this one, it's not the same part number, but that's the same concept that
Moline.
Minneapolis Moline 50, or you know, very late G1000, G900, then the 50 series had that style taper lock hub.
Yeah,
so.
I'd say when they went to white, that was they used the Moline wheel design or whatever. But
right, that's about it.
For people who don't know, I mean, that is essentially a white tractor. It's orange. It had a Deutz engine, but that's the same basic rear end, like the 2135, 2155, except this one's got a power shift. But yeah, they were white tractors pretty well all the way to the end underneath. So
yeah,
I don't know that many people use Landau anymore, but
Dad has a disc ripper that's a Landau, and part of the problem is we found out after he bought it, it's experimental, and some of the parts,
really?
like some of the parts are not easy to find. So
this has been pretty good as far as parts availability, but they're proud of them sometimes.
Yeah, I know how that is.
$100 bearings and
that's no fun.
So that's where the field cultivator comes in that I bought the other day.
Yeah, I was looking at that. Made me think of, you know, I back in the day I used to work for 2 different organic farmers. And you know, of course they had that same, well, with a John Deere, underfirst rolling baskets and spike tooth harrow in between there, but this is quite a disc. Yeah,
30 foot, not one you see very often, and I just lucked into it. A neighbor had it, was going to sell it. They said it came from a sod farm, and he had it. It's a little more in the clay than like this tractor wants. You can't really just sink it down to the frame. I mean, you gotta, but it does a good job. I mean, probably about a 25 would be better than that. It's can't complain about the price. It gets $1,200. That's it.
Blades are worth more than that.
That's exactly right. It's going to be sad. Next year I really need to put blades on it, and I'll spend 3-4 times.
Yeah.
Put them.
Yeah, old baler.
And the old baler. It needs put away too for the winter, but that was the auction buy that second time around, you know.
Oh, that's right.
First time I missed it, and then I bought it on auction time from the
Yeah.
guy who bought it. So.
Yeah, auction time strikes again. 770. That was a good tractor too.
Yeah, those are good.
And that's a handy sized trailer there. You can't, nothing
know.
too big, but you can still get a lot
I
of
wish
stuff
it was
on
a
there.
little wider. That's the
Yeah.
only thing I. But you can't be choosers. That's another one. It was like $1,100. So you can't.
Auction
Can't pass that.
time.
Yeah, a lot of my stuff still has the auction time.
Yes. Yep. 4020. Let's go look at this cultivator real quick, if you don't mind.
We can look at whatever you want.
Yeah.
Just don't show my address and.
Oh, I won't.
that
No,
kind of
no,
thing. And all the directions of how to get here.
no. Nope, no, people don't need to know that. But, oh, yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't pass this up the other day.
Right. It's just,
I saw it about a month ago. They listed it was going to be up for sale, and $775. And
this is like John Deere's similar to this.
I think by that era, pretty well everybody was
Yeah.
on board with the same design.
See, up our way, a lot of guys have these, but they also carry a big bar and they'll have it mounted somewhere to pound out the stones every night.
Yeah, I know that's a struggle you've
Yeah.
got up there that I don't
Yeah.
have. I mean,
And when these are wore is when these get thin this way, you know, because when they get thinner, then they bend easier.
yeah, whenever the rocks hit them.
Yeah. So it's just,
Yeah, if I think
Nature of the beast.
in the last 5 years I maybe found one stone and it was about fist size, and that's it.
I could build you a road out of stones. a Roman road,
Yeah.
but that's kind of a neat. That was a good buy too.
Yeah, I mean,
They're heavily built.
yeah, I mean, even if you cut it up for steel, look at all the box tubing and stuff you got on it.
Right.
I mean,
Yeah.
it'd be more than that in what it is. I mean,
Right. Auction time.
but yeah, I make usually a weekly trip to that place.
Cool.
They sell stuff.
Yeah. And that's something. Where's your 4150?
It's down at the barn. We'll go
Okay.
down
I
and look.
wouldn't mind seeing that, and I don't have
We
to
can
get.
go everywhere you want to go. There's tractors. When you got the wide tires from the factory, you got this style wheel center, which is more like the 50 series Oliver wheel center.
Okay.
And if you had the 18434s or whatever, you had like the 55 series wheel center that had those riser blocks and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
So they're two physically different rims. So this tractor was definitely always on these wide.
Okay, so if you want to switch to 18.4s or 20.8s,
I'm sure
you're
you
gonna have
could
to switch.
find a rim that would fit this center and do it.
Oh,
but
okay.
for the factory correctness,
I
they
see.
actually used a different. And the only thing I can figure is maybe they thought the solid disc was stronger than having the risers, but I don't know. I mean,
Yeah, it
but
could
that
be.
is factory way. I mean, it needs a lot of stuff yet, but it's come quite a far way from when I drove it home. I mean, it's got a diesel fuel leak somewhere we're gonna have to tear into because, like
That stuff's too expensive to.
yeah, and I mean, it might start right now, but then it'll instantly die, and you got to pump it up to keep it running. So something either got worse on the drive home, or they just had already pumped it up at the auction, so it started every time or something. But but I didn't. I mean, I paid $2,100 for it, so I figure it's.
Yeah, you did.
I
all
got
right.
my money on that one,
The motor's worth close to that.
and
so
it's been
if it's
in
any
the
good.
county its whole life. On the other end of the county when it was new, but.
Oh, neat tractor.
Yeah, I like the old four-wheel drives. It really of any brand.
Yeah.
That's another thing. People don't really save them because they take up so much space to
Yeah.
try to.
That's why a lot of guys collect, the lawnmowers or the little small tractors. They go home with a half-ton pickup. So
There's a customer job that showed up yesterday morning. So it's a 265 white Japanese
Izeki. Yeah. There was down that show I was at there in Illinois. There was 3 of the 262s.
Yeah, the gray stripe series. Then they renumbered them when they went to
Yeah.
red. But his hydraulic line had a tiny little crack in it.
Oh.
And of course it's formed to the whole thing, so it's a real pain to get out of there, but and not available anywhere, obviously, So
Lovely.
I got it brazed up and it's ready to go back together. And then his brother saw me the other day at the fair and he said, "Hey, PTO doesn't work while you're at it, so
Oh, geez.
figure that out." So
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll figure that some way. But
Well, hopefully it's something simple,
yeah, and then my rods for this are at the machine shop, so whenever he calls, I can slap that back together.
So that's the 1655.
1655. Grandpa bought that brand new,
Yeah.
so it needs put back together. It just
Mm-hmm. There's the 500.
500. We can walk around.
Yeah, okay.
Get in there.
Yeah.
There's some over here. There's some in every hole.
Yeah, I know how it is.
Inside.
I have a tractor in my garage at home.
Yeah, well, we can look at these first. Here. 1650. We always had.
Mm-hmm.
And then this is probably, I don't know, this is one of my favorites. The 1755 I bought that after shining it up, it's very nice, original, I think. It's got a little bit in the paint where little spots, but I think it's a nice tractor.
Yeah.
I mean, so it sits inside a lot. I don't
Yeah,
let
I
it
hear.
sit outside, but
Mm-hmm.
Super 88 gas. Freddy the Fiat 1450. There's an 1800A around the corner. And
Okay, that's the one you spray with? Or your...
No, the 1800C is the one I
C,
spray with.
okay.
It's over in that other building.
I see.
The A usually, its job always was cutting hay, but it doesn't have as good a power steering as like the later
Okay.
50 series. It's got that gimmer thing with the shaft that runs in, you know. I don't know that Moline ever used anything similar like that, but
Oh, you still got your pickup. I thought your cousin was going to buy that one.
yeah, he chickened out on that deal.
Oh,
It
jeez.
looks like I said, I was loading scrap about 2 months ago, and I haven't got any farther. So
Oh, I like that 6-row planter.
that is a 5400 Plant Air.
Plant air.
First
Okay.
air planters they made that had individual blowers on it.
Yep.
So I saved that from imminent doom,
I
but
think my friends up north of me have one of those.
there was a lot in their day. They made them 1 year they were green, and then the rest of the year they were red. And then they went to the funny numbering. I don't know why they did that. They were 5400s, and then they became 5100s.
Oh, they went backwards.
You know, they went backwards in
Yep.
number, and then they went to 6000 series.
Mm-hmm.
COL 60, it runs. It just, I pulled it there and then
There it is.
weed screwed, so it's fine.
You'll have that.
Just like these pickles. See, I see there. This week they've grown. They've decided to take over this Super 55. That's fine. That's Super 55, 70. There's the 1800 C.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
That's the one.
Is that your only cab tractor? I mean, other Oliver wise?
Yeah, and that's not much of a cab. It's probably going to come off of there and put something
Yeah.
different on. But it, I've got it one of those little farmer's cabs. I was going to put on that 1955 whenever I get that project done,
Yep.
because I think they're neat. They've got those little fender tanks that screw to the side of the thing, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah. And your couple.
7300
Yep.
diesel, and then that 545 we always had. It's a V8 gas.
Yep.
And yeah, it's a corn eating machine. But I need to get out to that guy you visited out there. I
Oh.
haven't ever got a hold of him yet, but
The Shermanator.
I need
Yeah.
snouts for this corn head. The last time I used it, it was a real muddy year, and I folded a snout under it and totally destroyed it.
Yeah. Those are kind of heavy duty too, but
Oh yeah,
yeah.
yeah, but you can destroy
Yes.
about anything if you try hard enough.
Oh,
you know.
absolutely.
We've already done it once before. That's the stuff.
Yep.
Yeah. So
Yeah. But yeah. Hopefully he doesn't get a wild hair up his, you know what, and
start selling stuff.
While scrapping it.
Scrapping it,
He'll sell anything. Pretty much he has now. Last time I was there, but
that's good.
so. But yeah, he's got Holy Combines. That was the name of the.
Yeah,
Name of that one.
I was amazed. I mean that.
Yeah. All in one spot.
Yeah, all in one spot, and
Yeah.
I mean that's neat. So.
See, well, that's a few hours from here.
Yeah, it's hard to haul stuff too. That's why. Otherwise, I'd buy them 10 by stuff.
Oh, he's got a guy.
Yeah, a hauler guy. Here's the
Yeah, I don't know what it's going to cost you, but
500, which
yeah.
you don't see very many of.
No, and this is the one you're telling me that there is no parts available.
No, that's like a 1250.
Oh, okay.
And like the 1450.
Okay.
The 1250 is really bad about no parts available.
Okay.
This is a David Brown underneath.
Oh, okay.
And I can't remember which number, an 881 or something, David
Okay.
Brown, or 880 or something. But
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I didn't even know this was around here, but this is kind of local. It was the next county over.
Yep. Interesting.
So,
Top link there. But, well,
yeah,
cool.
that and it's that way because that's how it did its draft sensing.
Mm-hmm.
You took this wherever it is, this cable this is on a holder, and you're supposed to take this off and you stick it on this peg and hook it in here, and then it gets draft sensing through this cable. So it was a weird design the way they did stuff, and I need to figure this out. Somebody's obviously been in here and done some fancy, you know, shim work. And the problem is when you raise it up all the way, you can hear that it's always trying to lift unless you let the lever back down just a shade. Then it'll quit and it'll hold it up. But so something is not quite in the right adjustment. But that's going to take a lot of book reading to figure out what they did. I know you got to go in here and do something to adjust all that. But
Lovely.
But what people were amazed at, like when I talked to the other people who collect these, you never find one that's not all rotted out here, the battery boxes, and this is all original. I cleaned it up and painted it to save it, and then I wired it up to use one battery, but it still looks like it has two. And then so one side's got to cut off, and then the battery's in there, and then.
If I had to guess, you know, there's a lot of, you know, these had a 3-point mower on them or whatever, and that collected grass or whatever, and
Rotted out the boxes.
yeah, that'd be my
And I would
guess.
also say a lot of guys took the lids off and never put them back on because they're kind of a pain.
Yep.
And then your seat hits the lids. So if you had, you know, the right kind and you didn't have the lids on, you could probably arc out when you bounced or whatever. But
Lovely.
it's kind of, yeah, it's a neat little tractor. It
Yep.
starts in the cold. Nice. So,
Oh, cool.
yeah,
Well, I appreciate the tour.
no problem.
So,
It's worth the price of admission then.
yeah. Well, wait till you get my bill for the, you know, advice on the Moline.
Yeah,
Death
there
Star
you go.
3,
Yeah.
So
The consultation fee.
there it is. There it is. Here's an easier way.
Yeah.
Only cost you $15.99.
Don't worry, I'll call you after I've already done it wrong. and
Okay.
then-
Yeah. See, the older style of those, it's a different kind of sprag in there. Instead of having, like, you know, the hourglass rollers that only engage one way,
Yeah.
there's the rollers. Then there's, it kind of looks like a folded up piece of chewing gum wrapper. And
It's
then,
a little metal thing.
and then the clip
That's
that
the way
goes
the
over top.
hydropower ones are, or
Yeah.
and the over-unders.
and I did an early 302 one time for a guy. Put it all back together and went to drive it. And
Had it backwards.
And I had it back. I tear it apart and put them the other way.
Yeah, yeah.
Then it was fine.
Yeah, when
Learned a
you look at
lesson.
those things, it's hard to believe that can hold that
Right.
power because it's just thin little
Yeah,
strip.
like I say,
Yeah.
chewing gum.
Yeah, it's amazing.
But that sprag clutch in there probably is only going to be maybe that wide.
Really, it's a narrow
It's-
one.
Yeah, it should only be. Some of the bigger tractors had one about that wide. And they were, yeah, I'd call it the Welters in Verona, Missouri for that. They, at least, you know, if you need the part number, I get you the part number. But
Okay. That'll be a wintertime project. I'll probably tear it apart over on their
Yeah.
concrete floor. And then,
I would too.
and then
One nice thing, that's not a very heavy tractor. Splitting it isn't going to be a
yeah,
awful
man
scary,
killer.
yeah, awful scary thing. So
I've split a lot of things in
Yep.
an inappropriate way. So
Yeah.
I'm sure that-
Well, and well, fortunate for me, normally I have help if my boys aren't available. My
Yeah.
dad's usually around or somewhere I can, you know, get some help. Where you kind of work by yourself most of the time.
Yep, that's the thing. So.
So I'm more fortunate, I guess. So, well, again, I appreciate the tour.
No problem.